Alright.
Alright, you undead bastards, here is a guide on how to create a powerful undead party. To have full undead party, you need to finish Act 1, then finish the Lady Vengeance quest, and after you get to Driftwood, there will be a lizard on the boat with whom you talk, and then you can recruit another companions. I will now list all of the undead ones because their classes and their race is connected. You cannot change that. There are lots of undead choices, and from those picks I've chosen Rogue, Metamorph, and I forgot what this one was, Wizard or something. Before we start, couple of things. First, I will probably forget to mention a lot of things because it's a long video, but I will try to keep it as short as possible. Get good gear. I've spent 50,000 coins to get this party up and running. With Undead, you don't need healing potions, but you can create poison from healing potions by simply combining any healing potion with Zyke's Talon. So don't panic, you can get Zyke's Talon wherever, you can buy it off one trader, I can't remember now for the life of me, but you probably encountered one. Anyway, that's one way to heal. So we are going to use a couple of geomancers in our party to create poison pools, and that's especially effective against every other race. But we are also going to use Hydrosophist. Hydrosophist has those skills like restoration that will help tremendously in fights versus another undead enemy, so that we don't suffer in that regard. The main thing here that I've implemented is Necromancer skill tree. I've used that on 3 of my 4 party members. Simply did not have points for the 4th one. I've decided to do something else. There's a lot of room to switch things around. It's up to you how you want to build it. The brilliant thing about Necromancer ability is that it heals you. Considering that healing undead is a problem, Hydrosophist restoration skills are much more effective than any kind of Necromancer healing ability. And also Bloodsucker sucks. That ability is horrible, especially when you have an undead party. That way you won't bleed, so there's a little blood on the floor, and it sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. But we will use Mosquito Swarm. That's one of the abilities from the Necromancer tree that you can implement for every character that you have. You only need Necromancer 1 to be able to use that, and it scales with intelligence. Alright, so this is my party. My primary guy is my Undead Knight. I'm using him as a tank, and I've used Strength and Constitution as my primary attributes, obviously, right? To build even better tank, you can switch to single-handed weapon and a shield. That way you will get much more physical and magical armor and shields up, which will recover that physical and magical armor. This is where all the builds succeed or fail. For my undead character, I've distributed points through two-handed, Perseverance, Retribution. Leadership is just from the gear. Mainly Perseverance and Retribution because he is at the front lines, and if he can reflect some damage to the attackers, that's going to be good, and if he can recover magic and physical armor when he's knocked down or stunned or anything else, that also brings much joy to me because you don't have to worry about being stun locked. Although at this point Perseverance at 2 is not worth it. Either have higher number or don't have it at all. 10% of armor restored will not save you in the next turn from being perma-stunned or knocked down. Here I've redistributed points to Geomancer, Necromancer and Warfare. Combining Warfare and two-handed will increase your damage substantially, and you will also get from two-handed skill more critical multiplier. That means when you crit, your crits will be higher. And when your crits get really high, through the necromancer ability you will heal some of it back. That's the way we can sustain this undead party, by applying necromancer to almost every party member. When they deal damage, they will heal back. As for the talents, I mostly choose the same talents for everything: comeback kid, executioner, opportunist. If you have a melee character, this is a must. And I've used for this guy picture of health, mainly because he's a tank and I want him to have more HP. Although he is a tank that does a lot of DPS as well. Beautiful thing about these random characters is that they have Dome of Protection as their regular source ability. This is one of the best skills in the game. Especially if you have an undead party where heals are troublesome, and with it you can constantly recover your magical and physical armor. The issue with the recruited undead party members is that they do not have source vampirism, so you will constantly have to go back and refill them at source fountain. My another character is summoner slash wizard. Put some points into intelligence to buff all the offensive spells. Now, necromancer abilities are not affected by necromancer skill tree. They are only affected by intelligence. And my favorite one, Raisebone Widow, is affected by caster level and summoning ability. So what I did here, I made wizard and summoner. Here are my combat abilities. I'm dual wielding wands because I think it's really cool to shoot two wands at once. But you don't have to, you can use staff or whatever you want. I've put points into Hydra Sophist, Necromancer and Summoning. Here you can remove points because you don't need Necromancer that much. Here I fucked it up. Move some of the points from Necromancer and get it to Summoning or Hydra Sophist. Mainly to Summoning so that you can get Incarnate Champion. You can only get it if your summoning ability is at 10. That way you can completely ignore Bone Widow if you don't want it. You cannot have two summons at once, unfortunately. So if you don't want necromancy at all, you can completely remove it, but there are some cool skills in necromancer ability, so you can keep a couple of points in just to have something like Silencing Stare, Shackles of Pain, Mosquito Swarm, Decay, extremely useful against everything that is living, Bone Cage. I mean, there are a lot of cool abilities, but they don't scale with necromancy, so you just need a couple of points. Hydra Sophist is extremely useful because you get rain ability that doesn't scale with anything, but it can extinguish fire surfaces. Fire is the most problematic thing for the undead. Also, you will get a lot of spells that can freeze opponents when combined with wet surfaces, and you can also use your restoration ability to do nasty amount of damage to every undead creature. That's probably the main reason why I'm using Hydra Sophist. And also you get Armor of Frost to restore some of the magic armor, and plenty of other cool abilities. For the talents I've used Mnemonic because you're going to need a lot of memory to memorize all of these skills. Use Savage Sortilege because it gives your spells critical chance equal to your critical chance score. And Far Out Man, if you can. Increases range of your spells. Next one is Polymorph. Well, here are the talents, same shit. I'm mostly using same talents for most of my party members. The thing with Polymorph is that when you put points into Polymorph ability, it will give you one free attribute point per point invested. That's why I've decided to redistribute points like this. Finesse because I'm using Spear. Spear is the only melee weapon in the game that can attack across two hexes, which can be extremely good, especially with the Opportunist perk. Put some points into Constitution, Intelligence because Geomancy will scale with Intelligence. And also put some points into Memory and Wits to increase your critical chance and memory slots. This is a very versatile class, you can build it however you want, really. You don't need to use spear at all. You can use like a magical staff or 2 wands as well, and then you completely negate finesse and put it into intelligence and other stuff. I just like melee so much that I don't care about mages and staves and wands and whatnot. Anyway, I put on this particular character lots of leadership points. That way I will get an aura that gives me more dodge and more percentage to all resistances. Extremely useful. If you're using a spear or a staff, use two-handed ability. That way you will get more damage and more critical multiplier. For the skills I've used geomancy and polymorph. That's it. If you can, grab gear for this particular class that would increase necromancer. That way it can heal up with normal attacks. Geomancer is mainly used so that I can restore physical armor, and also I'm using skills like earthquake that can knock down and damage targets in a huge area. It also creates random all surfaces, and these surfaces can be made poisonous with contamination ability or poison dart. So that way we can create surfaces in which our whole party heals. Get opportunist, as I've said before, it's really important with spear if you're using it. Stench is really good perk if you don't want that character to be focused by your enemy. And the last one I went with rogue, typical stuff, opportunist, guerrilla, executioner, very good for any DPS class. As for attributes I went with typical finesse, constitution, wits. And here I've added warfare to my scoundrel. Warfare increases your physical attack damage, and I've also put lots of points into necromancy. Rogue does insane backstab damage. With that damage you can put a lot of points into necromancer and he can heal up whenever he wants. I believe that necromancer should be used for every rogue or shadow blade out there. Doesn't matter if you're undead or not. You can heal so quickly with this. Warfare, as I said, gives you more physical attack damage, and Scoundrel gives you a lot more critical multiplier, which in turn also increases your heals when you crit. Dual wielding gives you more dodging and more damage, so redistribute points as you see fit here, but here is what I've focused my points on. And that's it, that's my whole party. I hope you like the composition. Now I will test it out against these demonic bastards over there on Tactician mode, which is high difficulty, something like that. One last thing, focus your gear to increase the skills that you need. If you're with Rogue, increase Scoundrel and anything else that you have, but your focus should be getting gear that increases your necromancy stat. Let's test this Undead party on Tactician mode versus these guys. I'm just going to check if difficulty has been turned on. Yup, and I cannot change it anymore. So let's get going. I will start from stealth to get advantage. I will try to talk you through everything that I'm using and why I'm using it. Obviously with Rogue it's of the utmost importance to get behind the target. No other way of putting it, right? I have the uncanny dodge from my boots. I don't have any points in arrow surge and I'm not using it, so no need there. This is why I'm using warfare also on my teeth, mainly because I can crowd control more of the enemies. It helps tremendously if you're able to crowd control. Polymorph is the best class for that. Look at this, I don't even have to move, I can just poke him from afar. Really cool thing. Now we will start summoning My favorite is the Bone Widow. I'll put also Armor of Frost, because this demon has Maddening Song, which can turn him against me. No, fuck. That's when you're being hasty. You fuck things up. Wow, they are quite buffed for Tactician mode. They have double the health. Mass corpse explosion, so I have a couple of guys already without physical armor. But I'm not worried. I simply put down this in tougher fights like this one, and there's no issue whatsoever. I mean, you can almost always go for the killing blow. Doesn't matter how many attacks that you need. Use everything that you have. The sooner you kill the enemy, the better. You can see how powerful this creature is now with summoning combined with the necromancy, because it scales with necromancy. Look at the health. Sorry, it scales with summoning. Look at the health, almost 6,000 bloody health. That's stupid. I hate when I have to use my attack to kill an enemy if it only has 10 HP or 20 HP left. Anyway, so let's start talking about the usage of skills. So far I haven't used anything really, just using traditional DPS. I don't need to use anything else. But now I have an advantage, and that advantage is that the advocate character has now a low amount of physical armor, so I can stun him in the next turn. Obviously when you're battling rogues, that's a hugely difficult thing to do. Well, let's see if this guy has attack of opportunity. No talents, so I can go and use Chicken Claw on Advocate. And that's where crowd control ability comes in play. I mean, I've just made the toughest opponent in this fight a bloody chicken. This thing just keeps running around, getting hit by attacks of opportunity. That's why I said that attacks of opportunity are of utmost importance for any melee character. So what I will do is transfer this guy all the way down here so that I don't have to worry about him. At least not for one turn. One thing that I have is reactive armor, but nothing I can do with it so far. You need to pay attention to how much physical and magical armor your opponents have. For example, this guy has low amount of magical armor, so what I will do is use Winter Blast. Look at this, because of the high Hydro Sophist I almost completely destroyed his magical armor in one go. Oh, this was nasty attack. I now have decay and I can't heal even with poison, so I shall focus just on getting them down as fast as possible. Decay can be removed by applying Fortify. Now the dogs are blocking my path towards the enemy. Look at the bastard. Now they're all taking a lot of damage, but no one is dying. So that's not good. That's definitely not good. I see a lot of blood here. But I don't have Bloodsucker, but I have on my wizard. I will use it with her. So where are the enemies? Here's the main one. I have enough to use all in. You should use all in only when you have 5 action points, otherwise it's not worth it. It's more worth it to use normal attack twice. But if you have 5 action points, then all in will deal more damage than normal attack, and you also do normal attack next to that as well. Alright, so what can we do now? Physical armor. I shall remove decay. There we go. And also I will summon Oily Blob. Oily Blob will help me getting damage spread out, so that my party members are not constantly under attack. I need to put atrophy on the dog, so that the dog cannot attack for 1 turn. And Oily Blob can deal with some of the enemies. But the Oily Blob will do damage to magic armor. It does magical damage, which would be perfect if I could reach that, but I cannot. So I will start bashing this guy. Good thing that she cast Fireball down here. It would be sucky if she threw that Fireball here. It would be really horrible. She does not have decay, so let's see how much good Bloodsucker can do when there's huge number of blood splats on the floor. And that's why I'm saying that Bloodsucker sucks. It's horrible skill. It's better to use Mosquito Swarm then and heal yourself up like that. Look at that. Alright, so what can I do now? No undead in their party. I cannot use restoration for anything. I can use those shackles of pain, so that when I get damaged... Ah shit, it's blocked by physical. I did not read the description. See, these kind of stupid mistakes can cost you in any fight, especially tough fight like this one. Are you kidding me? Alright, nice. Opportunity. Attack of opportunity with spear. That's what saved me there. Backlash, and now I'm under the protection of Circle of Protection, which is exactly what I wanted. Now I have 2 attacks to deal with the dog and heal myself up. With 2 attacks I can heal almost 40% if they all hit. Unfortunately, 1 missed. Are you fucking kidding me? Much better thing would be if I put those points into summoning and then I can summon Incarnate Champion, which I did not do because I'm lazy. Now I will cast Guardian Angel. Allies in melee range redirect 50% of their damage towards you. Excellent. And now I will also cast Fortify if I have it, but I don't. Yeah, I do have it. Well, actually I don't need to cast anything, I'm under Dome of Protection. Still, I will cast it on this guy because I don't know if this Dome of Protection will tick that Fortify buff. Actually that physical armor and magical armor regeneration. Because now it's this guy's turn and he can do a lot of damage. I did that just to see what could be done, and now they are all under necrofire, so am I. Well, actually I'm not. Perfect. And all the surfaces are now either poisonous or on fire. It seems to me like they are on fire at the moment, which is not good, but considering that I'm under Dome of Protection, no issues whatsoever there. What can we do? Earthquake. Bam. Knocked down, knocked down. Really powerful. And it also ignores your party members. Or does it? Only enemy characters around you. Yep, that's how good this bloody thing is. I only have 1 point remaining, so I will... I don't know. Spider legs, Medusa head. A couple of options here. Bone cage, I don't need any of that. So you can see how much crowd control abilities I have. This battle has been basically won. The main guy is down. I can now toy with the others. He's now frozen as well, because he was wet before. I mean, beautiful. You can toy with the enemies. And how many heals have I done? 1 mosquito swarm. Obviously Dome of Protection helps, but you should use it. Especially when you're using these custom party members that you can recruit. Because they have one, why not use it? And this is the thing that bugs me. I cannot click on the ground if there's an enemy there that needs to be looted. I don't know why they did that. Finally. I don't like these new necrofire things and these new surfaces. I think it's overly complicated now. It was much better in the first Divinity Original Sin. But that's only my opinion. You can disagree with it. Oh, look at him, again knocked down. You see? They can't do anything really. You can toy with them as much as you want. Bam, dog down because of the AoE of Whirlwind spell. Can also use Blitz attack just for the fun of it. And I'm back in the shell. If you use spider legs polymorph ability, then you will entangle everyone around you if you put down the web, at least for 1 turn. I really don't use any source abilities at all except this Dome of Protection. I can't remember when I've used anything else, really. Except, especially from these origin characters. Maybe Blazing Fire from the Lizard, but that's about it. So much stuff going on. I cannot see the dwarf, and I want to kill the dwarf because this guy has uncanny dodge. I cannot see him, for fuck's sake, so I will skip my turn. Oh, I cannot. Oh, great. Then let's use Winter Blast. And I can also put down Elemental Totem. Look, Guardian Angel even works with the totems. Did not know that. Elemental totems can be summoned with your primary summoned creature as well, but you cannot have Incarnate and Bone Widow, so you should choose one. Later on when you get Champion Incarnate, obviously use that, but Bone Widow is so good. Fuck's sake, here we go. There we go, Buster down. Let's speed this up. There we go, battle done. You can see how easy it was, and it was on Tactician, which I will confirm once more so that I don't cheat or anything like that. There you go. Anyway, that's the party, lads. I hope you enjoyed. This is proof that it works tremendously. You have lots of options. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to check out the description. There are lots of info there on my other channels. And see you soon.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, you